Right, Alice Springs just hit 47 degrees, while Hobart S sitting at a comfortable 18. That is a 29-degree difference across our country, and if you think that S wild, wait until you hear what S brewing off the northwest coast. Is your area about to cop the worst of this rapidly developing tropical low, or are you one of the lucky ones dodging the severe weather bullet this weekend? The Bureau of Meteorology has severe thunderstorm warnings current for parts of 3 states right now, affecting roughly 8 million Australians from the Queensland border down through New South Wales and into northern Victoria. But here's the thing, those warnings are about to expand significantly over the next 48 hours, and I'm going to break down exactly when your location gets impacted. Stick with me for the next 10 minutes and you will know precisely what to expect for your weekend plans, whether you need to reschedule that barbie, and critically, when the fire danger becomes extreme across South Australia and Western Australia. Chuck your location in the comments right now, whether you're in the big smoke or out regional, because tomorrow I'll be doing personalised breakdowns for the most requested areas. Now let me give you the timing for our major centres. Sydney, you are looking at severe thunderstorms rolling in Friday arvo, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock, continuing through to about midnight. Melbourne, you are getting the tail end Saturday morning, clearing by lunchtime. Brisbane, storms hit late Friday night, heaviest between 2 and 6 a.m. Saturday. Perth, you are on a completely different system, extreme heat building through the weekend with Saturday looking at 41 degrees. Adelaide, dry and dangerous, total fire ban Saturday with 43 degrees and northerly winds gusting to 70 kilometres per hour. Hobart, you are the winner this week, mild temperatures, bit of drizzle Friday, clearing to sunny skies for the weekend. Darwin, classic build-up weather, afternoon storms every day, 33 degrees with humidity making it feel closer to 40. Now here, S, where things get interesting, and I need to talk about what the models are showing because there is some significant disagreement that affects millions of people. Access, our Australian model, is tracking this tropical low currently sitting about 800 kilometres northwest of Broome as a relatively compact system that intensifies quickly but stays offshore. The European model, however, reckons this thing takes a more southerly track and could actually cross the Pilbara coast as a Category 1 cyclone by Sunday morning. That is a massive difference. We're re-talking the gap between some big seas and coastal damage versus a genuine cyclone impact for towns like Port Hedland, Karratha and Dampier. The latest runs from this morning are starting to come into better agreement, but we're still looking at about a 200-kilometre uncertainty in that track. For you lot in the northwest, this means tomorrow's update is absolutely critical. I'll have the overnight model runs analysed, and we should have much better clarity on whether this becomes Tropical Cyclone Alfred or just remains a vigorous low-pressure system. Either way, massive seas are guaranteed for the Pilbara and Kimberley coasts. Let me walk you through what is happening across the eastern states, because this is a textbook spring setup. And yeah, look, I know we're re-pushing into summer, but the atmosphere hasn't got the memo yet. We've got a deep low-pressure trough extending from the Gulf of Carpentaria all the way down through inland Queensland and New South Wales. Ahead of this trough, we're re-pulling up hot, humid air from the Coral Sea. Behind it, there's a vigorous cold front tracking across South Australia that'll sweep through Victoria and into New South Wales by Saturday. The collision of these two air masses, that's your severe thunderstorm recipe right there. But here's the one thing that got me concerned. The wind shear, that's the change in wind speed and direction with height, is extremely favourable for supercell development across the northern tablelands and northwest slopes of New South Wales late Friday. We're talking about the potential for very large hail, destructive winds and isolated tornadoes. Areas like Tamworth, Armidale, Moree and Narrabri need to be particularly alert Friday afternoon and evening. Coffs Harbour and the mid-north coast, you are in the firing line late Friday as well, but your main threat is heavy rainfall, possibly 100 to 150 millimetres in a short period. The coastal trough interaction could cause some flash flooding, particularly for areas that copped rain earlier in the week. Newcastle and the Hunter, similar story, storms Friday night, some could be severe. Main concern is localised flooding in urban areas. Wollongong and the Illawarra, you are looking at storms passing through around midnight Friday into early Saturday morning. The good news is they should be weakening as they move offshore, but you'll still see some lightning and moderate falls. Now let me swing across to Victoria because Melbourne's forecast is actually pretty interesting. You're currently sitting at 22 degrees, partly cloudy, fairly pleasant spring conditions, but that cold front I mentioned, when that comes through Saturday morning, we're expecting a temperature drop of about 8 to 10 degrees within an hour. You'll go from low 20s down to 13 or 14 degrees by lunchtime. The wind shift is going to be dramatic too, northerlies switching to strong and gusty southwesterlies. Geelong, Ballarat and Bendigo, you're all on the same timeline. That change hits mid to late morning Saturday. Shepparton and the northeast, you might get some morning thunderstorms ahead of the change. Nothing severe expected, but worth noting if you're heading up to the ski fields for an early season look. Actually, hang on, let me clarify that. The Alps aren't getting snow from this system. Temperatures are still too warm, but there will be rain above about 1,000 metres, which is good for the catchments, hopefully building that snowpack base for when the proper cold stuff arrives in June and July. Queensland time now, and Brisbane, you are in for a rough Friday night. Currently 28 degrees, humid, that typical southeast Queensland stickiness. The trough moves through overnight Friday, storms developing along the ranges west of the city around 10 p.m, then marching east towards the coast through the early hours of Saturday. The main window for severe storms in Brisbane is between 2 and 5 a.m. Not ideal timing, I know, but better than peak hour, I reckon. Gold Coast and northern New South Wales border, you're on a similar timeline, maybe an hour or so earlier. Southport, Burleigh, Coolangatta, all looking at severe storms possible between 1 and 4 a.m. Tweed Heads and Byron Bay, you are in that window too. Sunshine Coast, you might actually escape the worst of it. The models are showing the line of storms potentially weakening as it crosses the border ranges. So Noosa, Maroochydore, Caloundra might just see moderate storms rather than severe. But I'd still be prepared for heavy falls and frequent lightning. Townsville and Cairns, you're on completely different weather. Typical wet season build-up stuff. Afternoon and evening storms, heavy but short-lived, clearing overnight. Townsville looking at 32 degrees each day, Cairns about 31 with higher humidity, making it feel more like 38 or 39. For you lot up north, this is just another week in the build-up, really. Toowoomba needs a special mention. You rewrite on the ranges where the trough intensifies Friday evening into Friday night. You could see some very intense thunderstorms. The topography there, the way the ranges force the air upward, it's perfect for storm development. I'd be keeping a close eye on the bomb warnings Friday, Arvo. Right, let me get across to Western Australia because this is where things get seriously concerning for fire danger. Perth, you are currently 26 degrees, clear skies, light winds. Beautiful spring day. Tomorrow, similar story, maybe pushing 28. But Saturday, that S when the heat really builds. The models are in good agreement here. Saturday S looking at 40 to 41 degrees in the metro area, possibly 42 or 43 in the eastern suburbs and hills. But it's not just the heat. The wind direction shifts to northerly and northeasterly coming off the interior, and we are expecting sustained winds of 30 to 40 kilometres per hour with gusts to 70. The humidity drops to about 15 to 20%. That combination, extreme heat, low humidity, strong winds, that's catastrophic fire danger territory. Bunbury in the southwest, you're looking at 38 to 39 Saturday. Geraldton about the same, maybe 40. Kalgoorlie, you'll hit 43 or 44, but that is not unusual for you lot. The fire danger there is always a concern, but the population density is lower. The real worry is the Perth Hills, the Darling Scarp, anywhere with significant bush and grass fuel loads close to residential areas. I fully expect to see total fire ban declared for Saturday across much of the southwest of WA. If you are planning any outdoor activities involving fire, reschedule them. This is not a day to take risks. Now, the Fremantle Doctor, that afternoon sea breeze that usually saves Perth from the worst heat, the models are suggesting it might be delayed Saturday, not kicking in until early evening rather than early afternoon. If that happens, you are stuck in that furnace for longer. There's one location that could cop something completely unexpected, and that Albany and the far south coast of WA. You're normally sheltered from this extreme heat, but Saturday setup has hot northerly winds potentially reaching right to the coast before any sea breeze develops. You could see mid to high 30s, which for Albany is pretty unusual. South Australia, let me give you the full picture. Adelaide, currently 24 degrees, light northerlies, pleasant evening ahead. Tomorrow, Friday, building heat, probably 36 degrees. Saturday, as I mentioned earlier, 43 degrees is looking likely. That D be nudging some November records. The northerlies strengthen through the day, gusting to 80 km an hour in exposed areas. Total fire ban Saturday is almost certain. The Country Fire Service will be on high alert. Anyone in the Adelaide Hills, the mid-north York Peninsula, you need to have your fire plan sorted. This is the real deal. Mount Gambier and the southeast, you are getting the cool change earlier, probably late Saturday morning, so your peak temperatures will be lower. maybe mid-30s before the change. Whyalla and Port Augusta, you are fully exposed to that northerly blast, 44 to 45 degrees likely. Tasmania, you've got the best weather in the country this weekend, no question. Hobart, 18 degrees today, 20 tomorrow, 21 Saturday, 20 Sunday. Bit of early drizzle Friday, clearing to sunny conditions for the weekend. Couldn't ask for better, really. Launceston, similar story, maybe a degree or two cooler. Devonport and the northwest coast, partly cloudy. Light showers possible Friday, clearing Saturday. If you're already planning outdoor activities, Tasmania is the place to be this weekend. Canberra, I haven't forgotten about you. Currently 15 degrees, clear and crisp. You are getting those thunderstorms Friday night as well, probably between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Not expected to be severe in the ACT, but you'll see some lightning and moderate falls. Saturday, the cold change drops you back to about 17 degrees with showers clearing to sunny breaks. Northern Territory, Darwin, we've covered, but let me give you Alice Springs and the interior. Alice, you hit 47 today, as I mentioned at the start. Tomorrow, similar, maybe 46. Saturday, slight easing to 43. These temperatures aren't unusual for November in Central Australia, but they still dangerous if you are not prepared. Make sure you're staying hydrated, staying in air conditioning or shade during peak heat. Katherine and the top-end interior, mid to high 30s, afternoon storms, classic wet season precursor pattern. Tennant Creek, low 40s, dry, no storms expected for you. Now, at around the 3-minute mark here, I just want to remind you again to drop your location in the comments. Tomorrow's forecast, I am going to focus on the areas getting the most requests, give you really detailed breakdowns of timing, rainfall amounts, temperature trends. The more specific you are, city or town name, the better I can tailor that forecast for you. Let me talk about what happens beyond the weekend because there are some interesting model signals. The Access extended range is suggesting this trough pattern could persist into early next week across eastern Australia. That means the potential for multiple rounds of storms Monday through Wednesday for southeast Queensland, northeast New South Wales, not continuously but repeated activity. The European model is less aggressive, showing the trough weakening and shifting east Monday, leaving us in a more settled westerly flow for the early part of next week. This difference matters because it asks the gap between ongoing flooding concerns versus conditions drying out. For Western Australia, both models agree the heat breaks Sunday with a weak cold front, dropping Perth back to the mid to high 20s early next week. That fire danger eases significantly, which is obviously welcome news. The one detail I am watching closely for next week is a potential coastal trough development off northern New South Wales and southeast Queensland around Tuesday or Wednesday. These systems can be tricky. Sometimes they just sit there and dump enormous rainfall on a small area. Other times they drift offshore and cause minimal impact. Way too early for specifics, but it's on the radar. Compounding threats we need to consider. For South Australia and southwest Western Australia Saturday, you've got the extreme heat, the low humidity, the strong winds, and you've also got cured grass and bushland that's been drying out for weeks. Any ignition, whether from lightning, power lines, machinery, human activity, has the potential to spread very rapidly. Multiple fires at once could really stretch emergency services. For southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales Friday night into Saturday, you've got the severe thunderstorm threat, but some areas have also had rain earlier in the week. The ground already saturated in spots. Additional heavy falls could cause flash flooding even from moderate rainfall amounts. Catchments respond quickly when they already full. Hang on, let me check the latest fire danger ratings because these have just updated. Right, so Saturday looking at extreme fire danger for most of South Australia, catastrophic for the Mount Lofty Ranges and parts of the Adelaide Metro. Western Australia, extreme to catastrophic for much of the southwest and central wheat belt. That's serious. If catastrophic is declared, the advice is clear: leave high-risk areas the night before. Wait and see. But I should balance that with some context. These extreme fire danger days happen multiple times each summer. Most of the time we get through them without major incidents because people are prepared, because fire agencies are ready, because total fire bans are respected. The system works when everyone plays their part. Let me cycle back through some regional centres I haven't hit yet. Wagga Wagga, you're looking at storms Friday evening, probably between 6 and 9 p.m. Some could be severe with large hail and damaging winds. Saturday, the change brings showers and a cool southwesterly, dropping you from 31 Friday down to about 22 Saturday. Dubbo, similar timeline, storms Friday night, change Saturday morning. Orange and Bathurst, you are high enough that you might see some small hail with those Friday storms. Nothing major expected though. Albury-Wodonga straddling that border, you get the change Saturday mid-morning. Storms ahead of it could be severe. Main threat is heavy rain and damaging wind gusts rather than large hail. Back to Queensland Regional. Rockhampton, 32 degrees each day. Afternoon storms possible, but not severe. Mackay, 30 with humid conditions. Isolated afternoon storms. Emerald and the Central Highlands, hot and dry. 38 to 40 Friday and Saturday. Across to South Australia Regional. Port Lincoln and the Eyre Peninsula, northerly Saturday, bringing 40 to 42 degrees before a late afternoon change. The timing of that change is crucial for fire danger. If it comes through at 3 or 4 p.m, you are stuck in peak heat and wind for the worst part of the day. Clare Valley and the mid-north wine regions, 42 to 43 Saturday. Extreme fire danger. Those vineyards will need careful monitoring. Western Australia Regional, beyond what Ivy covered. Broome, you are watching that tropical low development closely. Currently light winds and warm, but if that system tracks further south than expected, you could see gales and heavy rain by Sunday. Kalgoorlie I mentioned, but Boulder, Coolgardie, Norseman, you are all in that 43 to 45 degree range Saturday. Esperance and the far south coast, 36 to 38 before a late cool change. Beautiful coast, but you are not escaping this heat entirely. Norfolk Island, since we're recovering territories, you are getting some of that Queensland trough activity. Storms likely Friday night and Saturday. Nothing severe expected, but heavy falls possible. Christmas Island and Cocos Islands, you are in different weather patterns entirely. Typical tropical conditions, afternoon showers, minimal impact from these southern systems. Around the 12-minute mark now, and I really do want to hear from you in the comments. Where are you watching from? What are your main weather concerns this weekend? Are you worried about storms, heat, fire danger, or are you one of the lucky ones with good weather? I read every comment, and tomorrow's video will directly address the most common questions and locations you are asking about. The thing about weather forecasting, and I want to be upfront about this, we read dealing with chaos theory in action. Small changes in initial conditions can lead to significant changes in outcomes. That tropical low off Western Australia, a 50-kilometre shift in its track changes everything for coastal communities. The timing of that cool change in Adelaide, 2 hours difference, could be the gap between catastrophic and extreme fire danger. So when I am giving you these forecasts, I am working with the best available science, the most sophisticated models, decades of meteorological understanding. But there is always uncertainty, especially beyond 48 hours. That SY checking back tomorrow matters. The overnight model runs will have new data, satellite observations, upper air soundings, all feeding into improved accuracy. What I can tell you with high confidence, Western Australia and South Australia are in for dangerous heat Saturday. That S locked in. Southeast Queensland and Northeast New South Wales will see severe thunderstorms Friday night. The exact locations and timing have some uncertainty, but the threat is real. Tasmania S getting beautiful weather. That S as certain as it gets. The medium confidence stuff, that tropical low intensification and track, we'll know much better tomorrow. The severity and exact path of the thunderstorm line Friday night, we'll refine that with tomorrow's high resolution model runs. The timing of cool changes Saturday depends on front speed, which can vary. Looking ahead to next week, and I am giving you the heads up now, there is potential for a significant rain event developing midweek for parts of eastern Australia. Could be welcome relief for some areas, could be flooding concerns for others. Way too early for specifics, but it is something I am tracking closely. Tomorrow I will have better model agreement to share with you. For those of you in fire-prone areas preparing for Saturday, make sure you've got your bushfire survival plan updated. Know your trigger points for leaving, have multiple evacuation routes planned, keep your phone charged, stay informed through official bomb warnings and your state emergency service. If catastrophic fire danger is declared for your area, the safest option is to leave the night before. For those in the storm zones Friday night, the usual advice applies. If you hurry out, get inside before the storms hit. Don't drive through flooded roads ever. Secure loose outdoor items. They become missiles in strong winds. If you were in a severe thunderstorm warning area, stay away from windows, unplug sensitive electronics, have torches ready in case of power outages. The heat in Perth and Adelaide Saturday, it's not just uncomfortable, it is genuinely dangerous. Stay in air conditioning if possible, drink water even if you don't feel thirsty. Check on elderly neighbours, keep pets inside, never leave kids or animals in cars. These temperatures kill people every summer. Take them seriously. Right, let me give you a quick natural recap of what we've covered. Tropical low developing northwest of Broome could intensify into a cyclone, tracking uncertainty. Check back tomorrow. Severe thunderstorms southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales Friday night. Large hail and damaging winds possible. Flash flooding a concern. Extreme to catastrophic fire danger South Australia and Western Australia Saturday. Total fire bans expected. Tasmania winning the weather lottery with mild and pleasant conditions. Eastern states cooling down Sunday as the trough moves offshore. Here is the specific tease for tomorrow's forecast. I'll have the overnight tropical cyclone model runs analysed. We should know if this thing is heading for the coast or staying at sea. I'll break down the Friday night storm timeline hour by hour for every major city from Brisbane to Melbourne. And I'll have the updated fire danger ratings with specific regional breakdowns for South Australia and Western Australia. Plus, I'll cover that potential midweek rain event in detail. Drop your location in the comments one more time. Tell me what weather you are preparing for, and I genuinely appreciate you spending these minutes with me getting informed about what is coming. Weather can be the difference between a great weekend and a dangerous situation, so sharing this information, staying updated, that matters. I'll have tomorrow's update ready by 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Same detail, same analysis, better accuracy as we get closer to these events. Stay safe out there, respect the warnings, look after